Hello, everybody. This is Linda Ferguson.
And Karen Nelson Bell.
And this is Platinum Prime Podcast for Life, your show that keeps you up to date with tips and tricks and things we use in our own life to live a Platinum Prime life. So today, Miss Karen is about to jump on a plane. So she's going to be with us for maybe the whole show, but she might have to leave a little early. And I'm in my regular studio, and we are continuing our theme of traveling while you're a senior. Today's show is going to be about how to recover from traveling, which both Karen and I just got back from a trip. This woman is a traveler for sure. And so we're going to share with you what we each do, which is probably a little bit different, to recover quickly so that we can, hit the ground running when we get back and so on. So in case Karen has to leave us early, I'm going to let her begin with how she does this. Karen.
Well, I'm not sure that I do it completely successfully because on this last trip, I had a harder time adjusting to the time change, because that is one of the concerns, is that now you're going to throw your sleep schedule off. And I've been going to bed quite late because my body thinks it's still in Las Vegas. And when in Las Vegas, when in show business, you don't go to bed until 6 a.m. But because I didn't do that on this last trip, but that's what I got used to, a lifetime of going to bed around between 4 and 6 a.m. And one of our pleasures was to go sit in a jacuzzi and watch the sun come up, and have breakfast. That was how you lived. So I had a lifetime of that. So switching over has been real interesting. And I discovered that my body really does like to go to bed right around 10:30 and get up right around 6:30. It likes it a lot. And left to its own devices, it would do that. So what do you do to kind of retain that mechanism of your circadian rhythms not being completely fouled up? I think one of the things is to really eat well. I think eating well is a part of my successful protocols, because I hydrate plenty. I drink so much water, and I don't eat sugar, and I don't eat wheat because they puff me all up. And I wear some patches that are radiation patches that guard you against the heavy radiation that you get when you're traveling. And I think that's helping. And once in a while, what I'll do is, instead of taking my own healthy treats, because wow, aren't you going to pay a fortune at the airport if you want healthy treats? Sometimes I will fast. I will do a 24-hour fast. Just don't eat until the next day. Just travel without eating. And I like that method. It's cheap. It keeps your costs down for sure. And I feel cleaner, and I feel lighter, and I feel really good. And I think it's a good, it, when you're in that plane and you're breathing everybody else's air, I think you have to really boost up your own immune system. So that I pay a lot of attention to my immune system. So that's one of the things that I do. So I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's anything more specific. Do you do something more specific than me?
There's one thing I'm going to add to that, and that's not always possible, but this trip, and the way I set things up for myself personally is I try and figure out how long I'm going to be gone when I do a big time shift, right? So if it's just a few days, I try and stay on Florida time, which is where I'm based.
Oh.
But if I'm going to be gone, because it's tedious, if I'm in a place for long enough and I'm out in the sun and my body resets its body clock, then I have to come back to Florida. And what I found, since I've been doing this travel for many, many years, is when I travel from Florida to a place that has an earlier time zone, it's a lot easier for me to settle in there, right? I mean, It's like noon there and it's 3:00 in Florida, and that's not hard for me. But the shift coming from an earlier time zone to Florida time always took me 3 days, and it kicked my butt hard. Like I would just be really lethargic for at least 3 days, and then I'd kind of get back into it. This trip that I just took, which was 8 days in length, I left very, very early in the morning. I got to I also went to the Las Vegas area, just like Karen did. We literally went on the same trip, different days. And I did really well when I got there. Like it wasn't hard. I did go to bed a little later than I normally would, which is more Florida time. And my stomach got hungrier then, but I was good. But the weird thing is, one, I did a nonstop flight out there, which I think probably that was the biggest differentiator. It's like a 5-hour flight if you go nonstop, and it can be, 11 hours if you just do a long layover. So the nonstop flight, both to and from, because when I got back from Florida, I freaking hit the ground running, and I have not stopped running, and it's been
Oh,
3 days. Yeah, I
that's
immediately
fantastic.
Florida time, but I got
Wow.
here at dinner time.
Wow.
I left at 11, got back at 6:30. It's been awesome. So, I have
That's
to
pretty
say,
cool.
yeah. Yeah, I have
Another thing that neither one of us do is neither one of us drinks alcohol on a flight.
no, never.
I am at this point, I guess you would call me a teetotaler. It's not because I'm opposed to alcohol. I just feel terrible when I drink it. I
Mm.
finally recognized, wait a minute, I don't feel good. I think I'll stop doing that. So,
I will have a couple of glasses of wine a week, and it also doesn't impact me that much. But so what are the key things? So here are the key things. One, travel is hard on a body. I don't care who you are. You're messing all of your systems up. So you have to be very conscientious. And if you listen to Karen and what she says is she pays a lot of attention to her immune system. You're not only changing a time zone, but very often you're changing a whole weather pattern. Florida is
oh
very
yeah, right. Right.
It's very humid here. We're used to that. The body gets really used to that much hydration and what it has to do to stay normal.
Yeah.
In Nevada, super dry. And it's really interesting to me how that dryness impacted how warm or cold I felt. So the mornings when I left were just delicious. It was like 57 in the morning, but it got up to 85 during the day. It was like crazy hot. And I was out in all of it. And that 85 felt like 101 degrees to me, which I thought was weird. I thought it would feel hotter with more humidity, but with a little bit of airflow in Florida, it actually cools those moisture particles down, so wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, but you have to pay attention to it because that just stresses your body out. It stresses your heart rate out, everything. So
Well, I
pay
think we have to be good at it, especially now. We've talked before. I've mentioned that I have come to a time in my life. I'm 81 and I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I've had 6 miracles. I think 4 of them were big miracles and 2 of them were little mini miracles. And I'm so healthy right now that I can actually envision traveling. Whereas before, it was too painful to travel. Just going to the airport, I was always in a wheelchair. Today, on the trip to Vegas, I walked the distance of 3 airports,
Yeah.
and I didn't use a wheelchair. And I did use pre-board. I told the lady, look, I think I've overestimated my abilities, so I did get pre-board, but I didn't use a wheelchair, and I walked and walked and walked. Thousands of steps for the day. And so I'm doing the same thing. I'm traveling right now to Dallas, Fort Worth area. And I'm just walking like a normal person would walk. So it gives me the courage that, yeah, I- I'm 81. I could be still traveling when I'm 101 and without pain and without wheelchairs and without slowing down my traveling partners. And so I think we have to kind of set ourselves up for successful, happy travels. Because wouldn't it be fun? Wouldn't it be fun?
Wouldn't it be
I
fun?
mean, my gosh.
Yeah, you're giving me more ideas, but I also have more travel coming up too. I don't know why October has turned out. I think it historically has been a travel kind of time for me as well. So I used to hate having to walk and walk, and I find Las Vegas Airport has some of the longest stretches of like getting from point A to point B that
That's right.
I can imagine. They really like you to go past the slot machines and all the ding, 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 ding to put you in the mood when you arrive. When you depart, there's much less of that. This sort of like, yeah, you're out of here, so the slot machines aren't going to mean as much.
That's right. That's
But
right.
um,
Oh.
the
I've
walk,
done the Las Vegas airport. So I mean, I lived there 55 years. So I've been in and out of that airport, traveled all over the world, and I've done that airport a ton. And you're absolutely right. But today, I think I had equally long ride because we parked in instead of taking Uber, we decided, well, we'll just park because I'm traveling with a companion, and we said, well, we'll just park in long-term parking. And long-term parking is long away from terminal term parking. Oh
right,
my gosh, we walked and walked and walked, and even though they had some walking, rolling walkways. It was a long walk,
was
I'm
it
telling you.
outside?
No, it was inside. Well, inside a parking garage,
Oh, thank heaven.
open air, but not in the sunlight. Yeah,
Thank heavens. So when I departed, which was just a couple days ago, I was cutting it short anyway. I always travel with just something I don't have to check, right?
yeah,
But
me too. Yeah,
I literally had to jump out and run to make it in time, hoping and praying that TSA was not crowded, which it wasn't.
yeah.
So some of the other things are in prep, like it's hard for me to sleep before I travel, but sleep and rest prior to and immediately after travel, if you have it planned, is really, really important because that's the time when your body is repairing itself and getting you set up for whatever the next day is going to bring. So sleep and rest, really important. Do you do that too?
Oh, Linda, I do, and I've been oversleeping just eh, just on this particular trip. I mean, I slept until 9:30 yesterday.
Wow.
I had to set. I never set an alarm because I always wake up in time for whatever the day has for me. And I set an alarm today just to make sure that I allowed enough time to get to the airport and have this nice conversation with you. We were about to not do it. We- I ran out of time because I found out I had to go to the airport sooner, and we were supposed to do this podcast earlier in the day. I said, no, 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 we're not going to cancel our podcast. That's the one. That's the one non-negotiable.
That's right. Well, so hydration and nutrition. Karen talks about it. It's
Somebody
really,
just I had my phone on do not disturb, and yet somebody was able to call me, and it interrupted what I was doing there. Did you notice an interruption?
yeah, you blipped
Yeah, you
out for
blipped
a
out.
moment.
Okay, but we're okay.
We're okay. Yep.
Okay, good.
Hydration, nutrition. So I travel with an empty water bottle, just a plastic water bottle that had really good water in it in the past. And I just keep it with my backpack, my 10X backpack. And so my system is to dash through, get through TSA, get everywhere, get to my gate, and then I fill my water bottle up. And then if
Where do you? I want to do that. I did that this time. I never have done that. I did it this time. Where do you fill the water bottle up?
there's always a fountain between the restrooms, and there's a water bottle filler thing on it.
Good, good, good.
Yeah. So, and then do your mix-ins, your special healthy vitamin mixes if you have it with you,
See my
because
aluminum
that's really
bottles.
important.
That's my aluminum
Oh,
water
yeah.
bottle.
Awesome. Okay, airport food can either be wonderful or it can be horrible, or you can bring snacks. My recommendation is bring snacks. That means that if you have any delays on getting on the plane or whatever, you don't have to stand in line and wait for something else. And you want to avoid eating things that are stressful to your body, which everyone knows. We can say no sugar, no heavy fats, no super heavy meals. I always bring a neck pillow as well. So if my body wants to sleep on board, I can do that.
So did you check
Now,
out my snack?
what's
Did
that?
you see?
Which is,
Did you see my snack?
I didn't. I wasn't looking at you actually to be yum. Yes. You know, what's funny is I had something similar with me. It's really, really good. All right. So sitting on the plane while you're traveling if you're able to get up every 30 minutes and just take a light stretch or a walk, that's awesome.
Good idea, but I don't do it. I take a window seat.
Oh, you do? I
Yeah.
took I had the aisle seat the last 2 trips. Perfect. Liked it so much better than a window seat. More comfortable, actually, with a neck pillow. A neck pillow lets you just your head doesn't fall side to side, and,
I
you
have
know
to tell you, I have to tell you a success story from today.
yeah.
So I'm traveling with my friend Gladys, and she's seen me during my pain days. She knows me from a long time, and she's seen that. And she's wheeled me in the wheelchair. I don't do a airport without a wheelchair.
Mm,
And the last 2 trips I've done it without a wheelchair. I've walked the whole distance. I'm
yeah.
totally amazed at myself. I'm so proud, you know. But this morning I travel with a little nylon backpack that just has strings on either side, and I put a pillow inside of it. So here it is on my back, and the pillow is walking around with me on my back, right? And it seems to be has been essential to my comfortable traveling. And this morning, when I went to Gladys's so that she would drive us both to the airport, I forgot it, and I forgot the pillow in my car. And
Oh,
to me, that was a sign that my back was not my center of attention. My pain was not the center of my attention. I forgot my pillow. And to
oh.
me, that would, does that make sense to you?
It'll
Why
make
that is a,
sense to me if on the other end of this trip you go, "That was awesome."
well, I realize that what you just said is true, but just forgetting it is a win.
Okay.
It's
Uh,
like when you've had surgery like on your knee,
yeah,
and then sometimes during the day I'll forget that I had a knee. I'll forget that my knee is anything to think about.
that's awesome.
It was also the same way when I was when my husband died. I spent years measuring my life in Duncan years. I would his birthday, our anniversary, the day of his passing. They all met, and there came a time when I forgot to commemorate his passing. It was November 11th. It'll come next month. I forgot it, and you might think, well, she doesn't care about him. No, it was that I've healed. And so I think that's what I guess it's a symbol when you forget that thing that was hurting you painfully, that
For
whether
me,
it's a mental pain or a physical pain, it was just forgetting that pain.
when I forget, it's because I forgot. So we have a difference there. And I like your reason for forgetting much more than mine. And I think that's awesome.
Well,
So,
thank you. I
yeah.
suppose I probably ought to get ready. I ought to go find myself some water, and I probably ought to get going. You know what's really a funny idios coincidence is that over the last weekend, the company that I have several uh, resources for health and wellness, and the company that I was traveling for was doing has launched a new travel program, and so as of 6 days ago, I am the proponent of a travel program. I just think that's hilarious, and the
You are a
prices on
travel
it are
agent
just
now,
the
right?
prices on it. I just want you to see. This is my beautiful, beautiful friend. This is my beautiful friend Jose.
Well, we know each other.
You know each other, so we're doing a little podcast, Jose.
Yay.
Yeah, I'll see you on the plane.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, wasn't that
Oh,
fun?
that's totally fun. All
Yeah.
right. So you are a travel agent, which is, I
I'm not a
think,
travel agent, but I have access to the cheapest. I mean, one of the things that I love is I can get us when you and I go someplace, we can get one of these timeshares. You know how they sell timeshare for travel, and
yeah,
you have a week blocked out of 1 year, and you get to enjoy a week.
yeah.
I can get a week's worth of a 2-bedroom house with a kitchen and everything, and I can get that for like $250 a week.
What?
Seriously, seriously.
Oh my gosh, where did you go?
If I had known about what I know now about what I can do, this trip would have been so much less expensive. I would have
Oh,
stayed in a
really?
hotel where I could have had a 50 to 75% discount. I'm like,
Listen to this.
okay.
So 4 weeks for $1,000 with travel in between each of those places sounds like an amazing month. right?
It would be. It
Wouldn't
would
that be
be.
fun?
We'll have to plan this out.
We definitely.
Linda, I
All right,
adore
so I'm
you.
gonna
You know I do.
kiss
Well,
this.
I'm getting younger. Ask me how. So I always
Mhm.
wear it to the airport so people can ask me.
Have a wonderful trip, Karen. We will
Thank-
see you next week. And don't go away, guys, because I'm going to stay on and just wrap up a few more tips. But bon voyage.
Bon voyage, and I'm gonna leave. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Karen.
Talk to you.
Okay, so we are just going to continue with a few more tips. So we talked first, the things that I talked about were make sure you have enough sleep and rest prior to travel. And then once you arrive back, just be kind to your body because your body's gone through stress. You want to make sure that you've stayed well hydrated during your trip. Always stay well hydrated, but afterwards, you want to just flush anything out of your system, which is what hydration helps your body do. You've been sitting in stale air, no matter what you've done. If you've driven across country, you're not breathing air so much, but I don't really know anyone who doesn't take snack breaks on a cross country. And those snacks are pretty tempting. Um, Make sure you're moving. Now, I've observed personally for me, there have been times in the past where I've fallen asleep on a plane and it's been for a stretch of time. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's a cabin pressure or whatever, but all my limbs, my legs, my arms, everything get very swollen and uncomfortable, probably from sitting still for too long, but also I think the air and the cabin pressure might have an impact. So, moving, which I did this last trip, and I literally walked off and back into my Florida life with no downtime whatsoever. I didn't even take my usual afternoon nap when I've been doing too much, which I tend to do. I didn't even need to do that. So it was really good. But I made sure that I moved a lot on my all of 5-hour trip. Was good. And then some other things that can be helpful is warm baths, Epsom salts, or showers. If you like doing cold showers, that's actually really good. Alternating cold and warm showers help you with circulation. If you can get a massage, you sort of get the idea. It's like heightened self-care immediately following a trip, and even preceding is helpful. And then, circadian rhythm, we've talked about it before. Everybody knows what it is. But basically, the body responds to the position of the sun, the position of night, and how it should be reacting to those times so that it gets on its own body schedule. Circadian rhythm, circadian rhythm. And so not only does that include sleep, but it also includes meals. When you get hungry, when you get tired, you get the idea. If you are able to get out in sunlight when you land, which means depending on what time you land, but that actually can be better, and out in the day, your body gets an idea of the sun position. And I think when I got to Las Vegas this time and I stepped off the plane, it was just before noon. So I left uh, 8 something. Anyway, I got there right around lunchtime and it was great. I was starving. And I just rolled right into lunch and dinner and going to bed on time. So that was pretty good. So you get home, you get rested, you are well hydrated, and you try and get on your regular schedule at home, take a nap if you need to. And then you jump into what? The backlog, all the things that happened while you were gone. And as much as possible, you want to just sort through that. Start doing those things sort of ritualistically that signal to you it's at the end of your trip and you're back into real life. For me and for many people, it's immediately unpack, get all your stuff put away so you're not looking at it and you're not overwhelmed by more stuff that you need to do. and put your stuff away. Look at what you have to go through, get all those things sorted out. Look at your calendar and start planning your future at home. Fitting in what you need to do because you've just discovered it as you walked in to your home that you need to add to an existing calendar. And that's actually really good because it takes you out of where you were and puts you into where you're going. All right. And just a few other things before we wrap this up. We talked about getting things organized right away, resyncing your life to where you are now. That's your regular life. And leaving some time between just the things that you need to do so that you have a little bit more buffer time than you might normally schedule for yourself. For example, on this trip, I had booked a client meeting immediately the next morning. Now, it actually turned out perfectly, and it was a wonderful situation. The meeting with the client went really, really, really well. And so that put a lot more things to do in the future. But had it been in the past where I was very laggy after traveling, where I could barely think, my head was really fuzzy, that would have been a huge mistake because this happened to be a client with a lot of upside potential for our business. So that was good. Okay, so as always, what do? We always create some sort of a guide or handout for you so that some of those tips, if they resonated with you or things that you want to add to the list of successful actions that you use when you're traveling, we have a handout that I will have a link below this episode show notes. And if you would like to add any tips you've used in the past to travel successfully, vitamins, whatever, please share. We would love it. So thank you very much for joining both Karen and I for this week's episode of Platinum Prime Podcast. We will see you again next week. And as always, live a Platinum Prime life. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye.